welcomes Rosie O'Donnell, NBC Tonight.
Love is in the air with our first ever couples championship. This is beautiful.
We're going to get to that buzzer together.
Wow. How's date night going?
Ninja Warrior Couples Championship, Monday on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Artists like you make our show special.
I would love you to be on my team.
Oh, my gosh. That was the worst accent.
Live on NBC 12, this is News Watch 12 at 10.
Good evening, I'm Jessica Jukage. The clock is ticking for United Auto Workers threatening to stage an unprecedented strike, and the union and the big three automakers still appear to be far apart. In less than 2 hours without new contracts, the UAW says for the first time ever it will strike against Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler owner Stellantis simultaneously. The UAW says all three companies are still offering a pay bump far short of its demands, which include bringing back pensions and retiree health care, plus the right to strike over plant closures and cutting the time it takes to make top pay. If they strike, auto workers will get just $500 a week from the union. CNBC reports the UAW's initial walkout could target key facilities in 3 states, possibly paralyzing manufacturing.
We wear our bodies out for these companies, and it's just part of our story, but we deserve to be compensated.
The union is asking for an immediate 20% raise in hourly pay, followed by 4 additional raises of 5% over 4 years. They also want retiree health care coverage and job protections. According to one estimate, strikes at GM and Ford alone could cost the companies over $5 billion combined each week. Plus, new car and replacement part availability could eventually be hit depending on how long the strike lasts. It was a beautiful day. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller joins us with the forecast. Jeff?
All right, Jessica, thank you very much. Look what we did this morning. 33 here in Rhinelander, 30 for Tomahawk. Widespread frost along and north of Highway 8. It will not be this cold tonight with low temperatures down in the upper 40s to low 50s. After we did this today, 70 here in Rhinelander, 73 for Tomahawk, even a couple low 80s across western Wisconsin. But here's the problem. It's going to be a bit cooler tomorrow as there is a front on the way. Here it is now entering parts of Minnesota. That's going to swing through an area of rain, most likely around midday-ish tomorrow. The trick is, can we get it out of here before the football games tomorrow night? I think we can, and the games should be a go across our region. Certainly no severe weather at all tomorrow, as we have just some rain showers throughout the afternoon, a wind shift, and then some cooler temperatures tomorrow night, and then throughout the day on Saturday and Sunday as well. Our forecast ends tonight, though, we're talking about mostly clear skies, not as cold as last night. Look for low temperatures down near 49. Your full forecast is coming up, Jessica.
Thank you, Jeff. The Republican-controlled Wisconsin Senate voted Thursday to fire the state's top elections administrator, Megan Wolf. The move immediately triggered a legal battle over who will oversee voting in one of the nation's most important presidential swing states as the 2024 election approaches. The 22-11 vote to remove Wolf follows years of criticism by supporters of Donald Trump. They have blamed Wisconsin's voting policies during the pandemic for his 21,000 vote loss in 2020. State Attorney General Josh Kaul, who's a Democrat, says the action to remove Wolf is not legitimate. He says he's filed a lawsuit seeking an injunction to keep Wolf in place as elections administrator.
The attacks that we have seen on Administrator Wolf are themselves baseless. The Republican appointees on the Election Commission have made that point, in addition to the Democratic appointees. This is really being driven by the continued baseless attacks and the election denialism that we've seen.
Wolf told reporters after the vote she will remain on the job and will not bend to political pressure. But the state Senate Majority Leader said the commission must appoint an interim administrator. Today, Wisconsin Republicans adopted amendments requiring any state electoral map to have bipartisan votes. They removed a provision in the bill that would have allowed the legislature to make changes to the maps if the first 2 versions put forward by nonpartisan staff failed to pass. The legislature could pass maps with a simple majority. That's what Governor Evers and other Democrats and advocates have put forward in recent years that would have required a 3/4 majority vote to pass. Republicans drew district lines in their favor and hold large majorities in the Assembly and State Senate. Because of this, Democrats have wanted nonpartisan redistricting. John Spiros of Marshfield said Democrats were invited to offer amendments.
It should give everybody an opportunity to weigh in and say, hey, this is good or not. But I think Iowa's done it. It's worked for Iowa. I don't see why it can't work for us.
Governor Tony Evers called the Republican bill bogus, partially because the bill still allows the legislature to redraw the maps if they don't like the ones drawn by the nonpartisan commission. State Senator Brad Pfaff of Onalaska said Republicans are finally admitting that the maps are unfair.
I think what we're seeing right now is the fact that people in this state recognize that the current districts, as they are currently drawn, are not correct.
The redistricting bill would go to the Senate next, but even if it passes there, Governor Evers said he will veto it. Assembly Leader Robin Vos said he's considering impeaching new Justice Jana Protasewicz before she rules on redistricting. But that's on shaky legal ground, as the Wisconsin Constitution says impeachment is only for crimes or corruption. Planned Parenthood has announced they will once again begin allowing abortion services in Wisconsin. The organization announced that they will start operations again starting on Monday at their Madison and Milwaukee clinics. Planned Parenthood made the decision to suspend abortions in June of last year after the U.S. overturned Roe v. Wade. In June, a Dane County Circuit judge ruled that Wisconsin's 173-year-old abortion ban outlaws killing fetuses but doesn't apply to consensual medical abortions.
The judge was extraordinarily clear that the court wasn't hearing any sort of arguments premised on the idea that the, again, Wisconsin 94004 that we were calling a criminal abortion ban. She was very clear in her decision that that statute does not, in fact, prohibit consensual medical abortions, that it prohibits feticide.
The case is expected to eventually reach the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Some people may like to dive more into depth in the history of where they live. In Price County, there's a new place to do so. The Price County Historical Society has been working on what will be known as the Lewis A. Koning Research Center. The building will have past paper and photograph materials of Park Falls and Phillips, as well as many family heirlooms and past school items for people to learn about.
People can come here and research, say, a family. We've had requests for pictures of buildings, how they looked, like 50 years ago. With many donations and hard work from locals, the Historical Society is excited to open the building to the public.
It's about the people. Everybody came together and they were supportive of us, and we appreciated that more than you can say.
The Research Center's grand opening is Saturday at 11 a.m. and will host the dedication ceremony at 1 p.m. Fall is quickly approaching and summer projects are finishing up. One community is celebrating the completion of their new splash pad. Newswatch 12's Nick Van Zyl checked out the new facility and has more. Nick?
Antigo City Park has been home to a wading pool for decades, but repairs and rising maintenance costs made it challenging to continue operating it. It's been replaced with a new splash pad, but it still incorporates some of familiar designs.
The dolphin is back. We really have to thank the Drager family and the other donors for making this happen.
Antigo has a new splash pad. The James and Mary Drager splash pad replaced the previous kids' wading pool.
This is something that my mom and dad wanted to do. They have a fund set up to donate different projects to the city.
The wading pool was decades old and required daily monitoring of chemical levels, while the new splash pad does not require any chemicals.
This is a great addition to the park. The kids are going to love it. It's a very safe operation, no chemicals, the water drains out, and kids are going to love it.
Well, kind of a new upgrade to what many wading pools have gone to, is more of a splash pad type accommodation.
Splash pads are more accessible for people using wheelchairs.
This was actually the city's idea. They came to us and said, what do you think about that? And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea.
The splash pad will open on September 15th, and it will reopen next spring for its first full season.
So you can see the features are geared for small children, but then it advances to some of the bigger features where, 5, 6, 7-year-old will really enjoy it also.
Each of the features will be able to be controlled by a push-button start and a timer to turn it off, making it user-friendly for all.
Bring families together, give kids good activities, clean activities, centralized location in the city. A lot of kids live right in this neighborhood. They can walk across the street, and the parents can feel safe that they're in the right place.
So we're all from Antigo, all proud of Antigo, and I think my parents certainly wanted to give something back.
The public is encouraged to attend a ribbon-cutting ceremony tomorrow at 4 p.m. at City Park.
Looks like a great time. Thank you, Nick. The EPA is cleaning up Maui after wildfires hit the area last month. Coming up, we'll have a look at the plans in place and how soon residents could come back. That's After Weather with Jeff, right here on Newswatch 12.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Furniture and Appliance Mart.
Choose one Hardee's English muffin with cheese, egg, and sausage, ham, or bacon. Then choose another for just $1. English muffin breakfast sandwiches. Now buy one, get one for $1. Hardee's. Goodness in the making.
With Chevy Silverado and Silverado HD, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. With the power of up to 36,000 pounds of max available towing and the confidence of an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado for you. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $750 cash allowance on this Silverado. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
A 33-year-old woman has fenders and a new headlight installed on her bike, but the parts are badly designed and cause her to crash. She never walks again. She decides to hire Habish, & Rotier, and she receives $14.5 million. The Habish team negotiates with the headlight manufacturer in Germany, the fender company in Hong Kong, the fender designer in Madison, and the bike shop in Seattle. It is literally the opposite of one phone call and a quick settlement. Habish, & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Sue right, Jake middle, and on the left.
Yeah, I knew I'd win.
Are you saying
What's
something?
really happening over there?
I think you're on mute.
There's no substitute for real gaming fun. Go where fun lives. Old Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
There's a new flavor at Hardee's, Nashville Hot Chicken. Juicy 100% white meat, hand-breaded and seasoned with a spicy kick. Hardee's new Nashville Hot Chicken and Nashville Hot Tenders. Both goodness in the making.
There you are. Welcome back, my friends. Look what we did this morning. 30 in Tomahawk, 34 for Merrill, 37 for Antigo. A cool start to our day today, but then it got better. High temperatures up near 70. Really nice day today. Lots of sunshine. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be a bit cooler as we have some cloud cover on the way and probably a couple showers throughout the afternoon. Look at this, though. 70 earlier, 73 in Tomahawk, 71 for the Wausau area. A gorgeous day for everybody, but that's about to change as we have a couple of hiccups on the way. That's going to bring us some different kind of weather tomorrow and over the weekend. Going forward, though, temperature-wise, 65 tomorrow, up near 70 on Saturday, 64 for Sunday. And then look what happens. There's all signs now, like literally every single computer model says you're going to get warmer next week. 75 for Tuesday, 78 for Wednesday. Wednesday is our best chance for seeing 80 again, and then 76 for Thursday. Lots of signs say this could go on for a bit into next weekend as well. We'll see, but just know somewhat warmer temperatures are on the way. Not hot, but warmer. We could do 80 again Wednesday of next week. But there are a couple speed bumps in the way, and that's going to be the form of a few showers and maybe a thunder shower tomorrow. The trick is going to be, can we get this out of the region before the games start tomorrow night? And I think we can. I think we'll be just fine. It is on the move. The problem is going to be it could stall out just a bit across central Wisconsin tomorrow evening, and that could impact a few games in Portage County, Waupaca County, maybe Wood County as well. Other than that, though, I think it's going to clear the area. and no issues for the games tomorrow night with those cooler temperatures moving in. In fact, here it is now. There's a front in here, even some lightning and thunder across Minnesota tonight. That will likely not be for us, but there could be a rumble of thunder tomorrow. Certainly no severe weather across our neck of the woods. And then once that passes through, we are in for a dry weekend. In fact, a dry most of next week, with temperatures getting back up in the 70s or so by the middle of next week. All right, so here's a futurecast showing the rain coming through midday-ish tomorrow. Here's 6 o'clock around game time tomorrow night. Most of the rain has passed through. It's all kind of falling apart. There still could be a rogue shower in there. Most of us, though, will not see that. And then it all kind of comes through. We could use some rainfall, though. Here's the drought monitor. It comes out every Thursday. And look, there's a bullseye across Oneida County where it's been the driest. Also parts of Adams and Portage County. So overall, again, we could use some rain, but there's just not a lot of rain in our forecast anytime soon. Our forecast, though, tonight, though, is lots of clear skies. Not as cold as last night. Low temperatures down near 49 with that southwest breeze around 5. For tomorrow, it's Friday. Scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms, but lots of dry hours, too. In fact, tomorrow's rain likely confined to, say, noon to like 4 p.m., and then it's out of here. Look for high temperatures, a bit cooler with the cloud cover near 65. And then looking ahead, your 7-day forecast by Northwest Furniture and Mattress shows a chance for rain and maybe a little thunder tomorrow. The weekend's dry with temperatures in the 60s, and then climbing temperatures next week with high temperatures back up near 80 on Wednesday. Jessica?
Maui hopes to begin escorting residents and businesses to wildfire-ravaged areas starting September 25th. But authorities are stressing the timeline is fluid, and they're asking people to have patience as they coordinate re-entry operations with an ongoing EPA cleanup. At a press conference Thursday, emergency officials said they hope returning home can offer residents some closure.
Very sensitive about that, having personally seen the devastation. I really want to make sure that people are prepared for that and we don't traumatize them anymore. Don't want to hurt anyone any more than they've already been hurt.
The death toll from the Maui wildfire now stands at 115, and more than 40 people are still missing. Additionally, some 2,200 structures were destroyed. The EPA is currently working to remove toxic materials from the area. Hunter Biden was indicted on federal gun charges Thursday. Special counsel David Weiss is charging President Joe Biden's son in connection with the handgun he purchased in 2018. The case was originally going to be dismissed without charges under a plea deal, but that agreement with prosecutors fell apart after a federal judge's review this summer. The charges against Hunter Biden involve making false statements on a federal firearms form and illegal possession of a weapon. Prosecutors allege the president's son purchased the firearm while he was under the influence of drugs. Biden's defense attorneys arguing that the plea deal should have prevented the charges from being filed. A new report warns of security threats tied to next year's election and migrant surge. The assessment out Thursday is from the Department of Homeland Security. The report says disgruntled Americans could cause violence around voting. Potential motivations include anti-government sentiment, partisan grievances, and conspiracy theories. The report also says foreign influence campaigns are a concern for the 2024 races. According to DHS, another worry is people on the terror watch list taking advantage of the migrant surge. It was a big day for high school sports with volleyball and boys soccer games happening across the Northwoods. Coming up, Saul Meyer will join us to give us scores and highlights from some of those games.
The Manufacturer Direct Tire Sale is on now at Sherrill Tire and Service Centers. Through September 29th, get up to $200 in rebates on Goodyear tires with a Goodyear credit card subject to credit approval. The Manufacturer Direct Tire Sale at Sherrill Tire. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
With Chevy Silverado and Silverado HD, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. With the power of up to 36,000 pounds of max available towing and the confidence of an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado for you. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $750 cash allowance on this Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
We are the nation's largest integrated healthcare system, providing life-changing care to over 9 million veterans.
Our hands are busy, competent, skilled, healing, helping, and friendly. A place where diverse teams come together hand in hand
to provide full patient-centered care. Working in state-of-the-art facilities with influential leaders in healthcare, all with a single goal in mind, to help veterans heal, recover, and get their lives back in a place where everyone plays a part and where your efforts are truly appreciated. A place so innovative and forward-thinking that we're rebuilding hands and where even robots lend a hand.
Join hands with us. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov.
Get up to $200 in rebates on Goodyear tires during the manufacturer direct tire sale at Sherrill Tire and Service Center with a Goodyear credit card subject to credit approval. The manufacturer direct tire sale at Sherrill Tire through September 29th. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
Coming up, we'll have another edition of Homeward Bound with Lincoln County Humane Society.
And we had some frost in the area today, Michael. Temperatures back in the 30s. When is frost returning? I'll have the answers coming up.
The Lakeland Union soccer team has been on a tear so far this season. The T-Birds were able to bounce back from that Rhinelander loss and beat a tough Medford team to get back on track. They took on Antigo on the road, who are still looking for their first win of the season. And a conference win against Lakeland Union at home would be a big one. Let's see who came out on top in the Battle of the Birds. In the first half, Lakeland Union scored first, and who else? It's Yaroslav Mishashin on the penalty kick to put the T-Birds up 1-0. Logan Greasy got his revenge for Antigo. Later that half, Jack Steppich crosses it. Brett Peterson gives it to Yaroslav, who shoots it, but Greasy makes the diving save for the Red Robins. But Mishashin would not be denied. Dominic Huranelia sends a beautiful through ball. Yaroslav is there to put it in the back of the net. He had a hat trick by the 19th minute, and Lakeland Union is going to go on to win this thing 7-0. Let's stay in the Great Northern Conference for boys soccer. Rhinelander gave up their first points in conference play to Mosinee, and we're looking to bounce back from that. And they did it in a big way, taking down Northland Pines on the road with a clean sheet, beating the Eagles 1-0 to get back on track with a big-time conference win. And the Hodags soccer players weren't the only athletes winning for Rhinelander today. The swim team was in action, too. The Hodags hosted Lakeland Union in a conference meet and were able to come out with the win, outscoring and outswimming the T-Birds 136-29, and broke some of their own pool records in the process. Keep an eye out on the Hodags come November for that state swim meet. And this is probably our game of the week, maybe year, for volleyball, and at least on paper. The rematch of last year's sectional final. Athens traveled to Wabeno to take on Leona Wabeno. And the Blue Jays got the last laugh last season, taking down the Rebels to make it to state, and the Rebels are out for revenge. So let's see if they got it in this entertaining matchup. In the first set, first point actually, the Rebels came out firing. Athens looking for a big spike, but Allison Albrecht and Bryn Yeager are there for the block to put Leona Wabeno on the board first. But the block party wasn't done there for the Rebels. Later that said, it's Haley Monnet and Izzy Pop with the rejection, and the Rebels are fired up. And from big-time blocks to big-time aces, Albrecht gets the serve down, and the Rebels are dancing. But Athens stayed tough and proved why they're one of the best. Soraya Hartwig's spike finds its way in, and the Blue Jays get the win 3-0. Let's stay in the Northern Lakes Conference. Crandon hosting Bonduelle in some volleyball action. Third set, big rally. Lauren Littleton with the touch. Haley Thompson makes the diving save, but Littleton follows her shot up with a block, and Crandon scores big. The Cardinals weren't done there. Maddie Turro returns the serve, and the touch seems to be working. Araya Peterson with the finesse to keep Crandon in it. Last point of the match, and it was a good one. Peterson passes to Bissonette, who spikes it over, but a diving save from Tatum Sparisky sets up a Josie Anvilink spike, and Bonduelle is going to go on to win this thing 3-0. And it may be September, but we've got some local hockey action going on. The Wisconsin Wendigo kicked off their season with a loss in Minnesota, and they bounced back from that loss one day later. The Wendigo have secured their first win of the season, taking down the New Jersey Titans 3-0, adding a shutout as an exclamation mark in an already impressive win. They'll be back on the ice Friday, taking on the Lone Star Brahmas. The Milwaukee Brewers were in action as well, taking on the Miami Marlins in Game 4 of their 4-game series. The Crew took the first 2 games, clinching at least a share of the series, but didn't get the sweep after dropping Game 3. But they were able to win this series, however, with a big-time Game 4 win, taking down the Marlins at home 4-2. We'll be right back after the break.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important, too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Don't need glasses. See us for your contacts and save on your annual supply.
Spin the globe and pick where you would go this summer at Ho-Chunk Game in Acusa. We'll be giving away a vacation of your dreams with our Vacation Your Way promotion. Throughout the month of September, you can earn entries for your chance to be one of 10 lucky winners on September 30th, with one grand prize winner receiving a travel certificate for anywhere your heart desires. Only at Ho-Chunk Game in Acusa, your place to play. For complete contest rules, see the Rewards Club booth at Ho-Chunk Game in Acusa. Must be 21 or older to participate and enter the casino floor.
Daddy teaches you can be anything in this world that you want to be, right? Don't Daddy teach you that?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're black or white or any color.
See, this is how children think right here. Critical race theory wants to end that.
You can make friends.
Yeah, you can make friends, no matter what color they are. So we need to stop CRT.
The truth wins if we're all brave enough to tell it.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Carrie from Wittenberg. I lost over 100 pounds and 68 inches. I know the secret. Prior to starting this program, I suffered with chronic migraines, lots of joint aches and pains, didn't have the energy to be the mom that I needed to be. My energy level's back, my confidence is back. I would definitely recommend this program to anyone looking for a change.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important, too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Schedule your comprehensive eye exam at shopko.com or bring in your outside prescription.
Minocqua Winter Park is putting some finishing touches on their equipment maintenance facility for the upcoming ski season. For 10 years, the Minocqua Winter Park has been trying to expand their facility because they need as much space as possible for the equipment and grooming vehicles. Executive Director Adrian Morabito says this will make a huge impact for mechanics.
So the equipment maintenance facility is huge since we depend on our groomers to have pristine ski trails out here, as well as hiking trails.
Minocqua Winter Park raised more than $100,000 within 3 months for the new facility. This week, Jets and former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers had a season-ending Achilles injury. It's now bringing new light to the effects of Achilles injuries on middle-aged adults. Dr. Kent Lowry is an orthopedic surgeon at Aspirus Rhinelander. He said Rodgers is in for a grueling recovery process.
Once there's enough healing, then he'll start progressive strengthening, and it will usually takes a minimum of 3 months to heal it to the point that we're starting to get back into life. He'll have to protect it with a boot or some kind of heel lift and even an ankle brace for a while for the first 6 months.
As far as how to look out for yourself, Dr. Lowry said anyone can suffer a torn Achilles, but certain factors may make someone more predisposed than others.
Parathyroidism, gout, particular antibiotic called a fluoroquinolone
somebody with that kind of calf strain history in the previous 2 months, especially if he was getting some subtle symptoms in the run-up to that game and was kind of playing through it anyway.
Rodgers wasn't the only star to suffer the injury in Week 1 of the NFL season. 24-year-old Baltimore Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins will also miss the remainder of the season after suffering an Achilles injury against the Houston Texans this past Sunday. We'll be right back.
You've got this. You didn't think your sister would take you up on the dog sitting offer, but here you are. Barriers purchased. Doggy distractions, no expense spared. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So when you have to make a purchase, or 7, to prepare, you can be sure we're looking out for you. So you can look out for him. You've got this with Associated Bank.
Hello. Yes, this is Nicolay Law. Well, no, I'm not actually, but I'm familiar with his work.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. If they want the real Nicolay, they should get the real Nicolay. Thank you. Russell Nicolay here. Yeah, we can help you.
In a world full of choices, make sure you get the real Nicolay.
You have a trash can here?
That's all right, maybe we'll get you one. Let's get you a trash.
America, it's a 24/7 kind of place. And that's where Ford Escape comes in, the ultimate getaway vehicle. With available driver assist technologies like pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking and Bliss with cross-traffic alert to help you get away from it all, even when you're right in the middle of it. You got this with Ford Escape. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 2.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $1,000 FlexBuy cash. Only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
The new 2023 GMC Sierra AT4X is equipped to conquer the great outdoors. Or the great indoors. Welcome to the peak of premium off-roading. Or get 0.9% APR and no monthly payments until 2024. Plus, get over 3,200 total trade assistance on 2023 Sierra Denali 5.3-liter V8 light-duty models.
Online real estate auction, 3-bedroom condo located on sought-after Pine Lake in Hiles, Wisconsin. Contact Brass and St. Louis Auction for a bid package today.
DC Everest students got the chance to show off their excellent masonry yesterday. Each year, DC Everest Senior High students attend the Bricklayer 500 competition in Fond du Lac. This year, the students earned top honors, securing first place in the Wisconsin Regional Junior Bricklayer 500 event. That's awesome. Congratulations to them.
That's awesome.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Choose one Hardee's English muffin with cheese, egg, and sausage, ham, or bacon. Then choose another for just $1. English muffin breakfast sandwiches. Now buy one, get one for $1. Hardee's. Goodness in the making.
Go with the flow at Dvorak's Docks. Flow from Dvorak's Docks is installed by trained in-house employees. That's right, no subcontractors needed, so your shoreline setup is guaranteed. Get flow from Dvorak's Docks by calling 275-DOC.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Save big money and get 11% off everything at Menards. Upgrade your home with quality appliances from top brands including Criterion, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, and Amana. Menards has the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Get this front-load stackable washer and dryer set and save over $650 after sale price and an 11% rebate. Get 11% off everything right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Times of transition, whether from a sad event or a joyful one, can leave us feeling adrift. Social connections become even more important. Being isolated and lonely can be harmful to your health. It can lead to high blood pressure, a greater risk of heart disease, and early onset dementia. So it's important to build and maintain connections to people whose relationships bring meaning to your life. Try a new hobby, volunteer, exercise, or use your phone or other device